And guess what? These chips are made from critical minerals, from rare earth minerals, from South Africa, from the DRC, from Zimbabwe, from Ghana. Why don't we bargain and say, hey, Nvidia, you are using our minerals. Can we talk and have a piece of the pie? But in a clever way, not the way DRC and Rwanda did to Trump, like little boys. You give all the raw materials. We must go as one Africa. 1.4 billion people, collective GDP, $3.4 trillion, all our minerals, our diamonds, our gold, our critical minerals, our rare earth, under one command. Under one command. Mr. Trump will give you a better deal.
Artificial intelligence could very well destroy the dream of Pan-African unity before it even begins. Africa has been behind on development for decades, but this time the stakes are far higher. If we don't reform how we think, how we govern, and how we build technology, AI will magnify every division, every weakness, and every trace of poverty across the continent. That's the bad news. The good news is that the same technology threatening to enslave us also has the power to free us if we understand it and take control right now. In this video, we're diving into the work of Professor Arthur Mutambara. I came across a lecture of his this week, and I believe he's laying out one of the clearest roadmaps for how Africa can survive and lead in the new age of artificial intelligence. If you care about the future of Africa and the survival of Pan-Africanism as an idea, then this video is for you. If you don't know me, my name is TJ. I'm Nigerian and British mixed, and on this channel, we talk about African geopolitics. So Professor Mutambara's lecture runs for nearly 2.5 hours. It's packed with insights and warnings that every leader, every student, and African thinker should probably hear. But if you don't have the time to go through the whole thing, I've distilled the essence of the message, the most urgent lessons, the clearest warnings, and the practical steps he proposes into a concise, powerful summary right here for you now. You see, AI just isn't another technology trend. It's a revolution on the same level as fire, electricity, and the Industrial Revolution that happened over 100 years ago now. But unlike those past revolutions, Africa now has a chance to play a decisive role if and only if we act quickly. Right now, humanity is failing to meet the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, and Africa, of course, is the hardest hit. After 10 years, we've only achieved around 35% of our global development targets. But AI, if used correctly, could help us close that gap faster than any tool in history. The technology, however, is a double-edged sword. The same algorithms that could solve Africa's poverty and energy crisis could also enslave us. This would be done through what I call digital colonialism, where African data fuels foreign profit while Africans remain powerless. And this is where scale becomes everything. Many of you have dropped comments asking how you can support this channel, even offering to donate or help financially. Until recently, I had no way to make this possible. But now through my Substack, it's never been easier for you to lend me some support. There's a free tier where you'll get one email per week, and for just $5 a month, about the price of a nice coffee, you'll receive a daily written update from all of my content, everything I produce. I'll be engaging with those of you who join, asking your thoughts on how to serve you and the continent better. Sometimes my videos do get demonetized, and there's also a small chance, as we saw with the Platform Africa stream, that a channel like this could be deplatformed. Even if the worst happens, we can regroup, rebuild, and keep pushing forward. We don't want any third party controlling this message, so with email backing us up, we can communicate directly. Thank you in advance for signing up. I look forward to connecting with you, not just on YouTube, but via email as well. Today, global power is organized around negotiating blocs. The United States, the European Union, China, all of these are massive entities with shared strategies and consolidated economic muscle. They negotiate with Africa not as equals, but as fragmented markets. Nigeria negotiates alone, Ghana negotiates alone, South Africa, Lesotho, Benin, the list goes on. So the call for these nations to unite as a bloc is a Pan-African dream. But regarding this, we must make sure we're not missing anything. You see, corporations are becoming extraordinary. Nvidia, one of the powerhouses of the AI revolution, a single private company, has achieved the scale of an entire negotiating bloc right now. Its valuation surpassed $5 trillion recently. If it were a country, it would rank third behind the United States and China. Think about that. Nvidia isn't just a company, it's a nation state of its own. It controls the chips that power every AI system on Earth, from Silicon Valley to Beijing. It doesn't need to beg for any trade deals or partnerships. Countries right now compete simply to secure access to its hardware because it can only produce so much. That's the level of power we're dealing with, when a corporation can dictate the future of governments. What happens to a continent like Africa, where 600 million people still lack electricity? Unless Africa unites as a continental bloc, combining our 1.4, 1.5 billion people, our shared GDP, and our vast mineral wealth, we'll never have a seat at the table. Individually, no African country can compete with an AI empire like Nvidia, talk less of China, the United States, or the European Union. Collectively, we could negotiate as equals, and that's the point. Pan-Africanism has always been about uniting the continent, so we can negotiate with the world's greatest powers. But before we even get to that level of negotiation, there's a deeper crisis we must confront: the elephant in the room, Africa's energy poverty. We have to face the fact that we are energy poor in a world where AI thrives on power. Across much of the continent, energy is unreliable or unavailable. And without solving this, all talk of AI and development is completely empty. The rest of the world is racing ahead because they have the energy to fuel artificial intelligence in the first place. If we don't fix this, Pan-Africanism will die. We will remain divided, trapped in a survival mode and mindset where others innovate in abundance. Our nations will become easier to control, their mineral wealth exploited by stronger states or manipulated powers. We'll continue to see the cycle of predatory, dictator, or puppet leadership. We won't have the energy to leverage AI or our best minds, and they will leave. Those who stay will be stuck in a system that never evolves. Africa will be frozen in time and left outside of the global technological standard. That is why solving Africa's energy crisis is not just an economic issue, it's now a matter of survival. Without power, there is no sovereignty, no unity, and no future in AI. Africa provides over 35% of the world's critical minerals: lithium, cobalt, and rare earth metals, the same minerals used to power AI chips. The irony is unbelievable. Yet we export them raw, earning pennies. That means a trillion-dollar company like Nvidia is doing the same cycle of selling finished technology at a premium back to the continent. That is digital colonialism right there. Africa must not just use AI, but also participate in building it. We must train our own engineers, develop our own AI systems, and even manufacture our own chips. We have the minerals, we have the talent. What we lack is unity. And that's the heart of the problem. Our leaders still think nationally or even tribally, when the rest of the world operates on continental or corporate blocks. We need a new kind of Pan-Africanism, one built on data, innovation, and shared technological sovereignty. Because if we don't build African-led AI, we'll be forced to consume Western AI. And these guys have not necessarily shown that they like our values. These systems are already biased. They're trained on Western data, on Western priorities. They reflect the worldview of Silicon Valley. Elon Musk, just this week, on the Joe Rogan podcast, was talking about how political values are being programmed into AI, and it went mega viral. We must democratize AI, make it accessible and beneficial to our people. We must strip away the exploitative structures that replaced old colonial hierarchies in the digital form, and we must embrace a decolonization mindset, a way for Africa to define its own purpose, use its own data, and control its own destiny. Sustainable development means nothing if it doesn't deliver transformation. Endless talk about sustainability without economic change is just another form of managed underdevelopment. So how do we actually change this? Well, here's 3 things for us to consider. First, use existing AI tools from Silicon Valley or China, but with awareness. Let's not be blind to our dependence on this right now. Second, we must invest heavily in building our own AI infrastructure, homegrown data centers, African resource hubs, and education programs that make AI literacy as common as basic reading. Third, leverage our mineral wealth, and this is the big one. We must use it as a bargaining chip to build the foundation of Africa's future. No entity, be it government or corporation, should be allowed to extract raw minerals from the continent without contributing to the creation of a power infrastructure, manufacturing facilities, and/or education systems. Our mineral wealth must be exchanged for the construction of our sustainable energy networks, industry bases, and learning institutions, the very groundwork we need to compete globally. Once those foundations are strong, we'll reach some tipping point where Africa can produce for itself, capture higher profits, and use that wealth to build the systems needed for prosperity in the future. If any corporation or government wants to, for example, extract uranium, that's fine, but it cannot be permitted to do so without also contributing to a fund that will be building nuclear development in the continent or directly helping construct nuclear development in the country. Without that development piece, there should be no extraction. And then we can apply that concept, that rule, to every mineral and agricultural export. Exchange resources for factories, school grids, and research hubs. If Africa then adopts this as a continent-wide standard and enforces this with uniformity, we stop being suppliers of inputs and start becoming partners in production. Raw extraction can only last for so long. This would mean that we would stop begging for development. We will extract development as a condition of trade. Foreign firms will have to become builders of African prosperity, not just extractors of African wealth. There is no point, ladies and gentlemen, in trying to walk before crawling. So if Nvidia is building trillion-dollar chips from African cobalt, then African deserves to share in that prosperity, not just as a charity case, but as a partner. AI will either unite or destroy us. It will either turn Pan Africanism into a global force or bury it into the archives of history. A nice idea that will never bear fruit. The difference lies in what we do now. This is the first time in history that Africa stands at the front of a revolution before it's fully shaped. The question is, will we shape it or will it shape us? If we unite, if we build, and if we demand ownership of our own technology and our future, then AI will not shatter Pan-Africanism. It will make it unstoppable. I would love to know what you guys think about this. I know there's a lot of thoughts about AI and how it's going to shape our future. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section. But if you have nothing to say, would it be too much if I asked you to write the words, "Let's build, not beg," in the comments section? It just lets me know that you watched the video to the end, you like what I'm doing, and you want me to continue. Thank you so much for watching today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.